early history of the milk business in San Francisco. These are some of the first milk dealers and dairy owners that supplied milk to the city of San Francisco. As you can see, some of them started in their businesses in the 1860s and 70s, but they weren't bottling milk pretty much until the 90s. Milk was dispensed from metal cans. They would deliver milk, throughout the city on horse-drawn wagons, and the milk would be in cans. Pretty unsanitary way of, dealing with milk. So Ewell was actually the first milk dealer to bottle milk, and that was been 1887. I have a picture of a bottle up there that was a pint tin top milk bottle. It came in both aqua and clear glass, and it was made in all quarts, pints, and half pints. Unfortunately, I only know of a few pints around. I don't own one, but I'm still looking for one. Then he changed the name to Ewell's XL Dairy Bottled Milk Company in 1888, and I have some of those bottles. In the middle of this picture are two early Ewell bottles. These are the XL Dairy Bottled Milk Company bottles. They date from 1888 to 1893. They don't have trademark embossed on them. In 1893, he applied for and received a trademark, and so then the bottles were blown that say trademark on them, and those bottles date to 1895. Ewell sold the business in 1895, and the owner, Vermeil, dropped the name XL Dairy Bottled Milk Company and changed it back to XL Dairy Company. So this little amethyst half pint bottle is from the XL Dairy Company. After Ewell sold the business, Gene Vermeil bought it in 1895. He dropped the name XL Dairy Bottled Milk Company and changed it back to XL Dairy Company. I didn't know this bottle existed until a few years ago. I suspected it did, and I found this bottle on eBay, and so it's a nice addition to my line of Ewell and XL Dairy bottles. Ewell actually passed away in 1998. But the XL Dairy business continued on, and they merged with San Pedro Farm. So those three milk bottles in this picture, San Pedro Farm, Stone and Company. Isaac Stone was the first, one of the earliest milk dealers that supplied milk to the city. He started his business in 1864. These bottles date from 1892 to 1899, and when he merged with the XL Dairy to become the San Pedro and XL Dairy Company. There are actually 5 bottles in this grouping that are from the San Pedro and XL Dairy Company, which existed from 1899 to 1906. There are 2 different addresses. 21st and Folsom Street was the earliest address they used from 1899 to 1900. Then they moved their depot to 1515 California Street from 1900 to 1906. So the 3 bottles in the center of this picture are early dairy delivery milk bottles that were made around 1906 up until maybe 1915. These are the bottles that the whole display is basically about. All of the bottles in this display led up to this company. All these companies merged after the 1906 earthquake to form the Dairy Delivery Company. There were 8 companies, and of which the history I've explained on my board above, that merged. So it's kind of a genealogy of how the Dairy Delivery Company was formed from these 8 earlier milk dealers and dairies. The first small half pint behind the sign says Daly is 1897-1906. It's the San Mateo Dairy. John Daly, which Daly City became known after, had a dairy. He started in 1873. And this is the only milk bottle I've seen from his dairy. He was one of the directors and founders of the Dairy Delivery Company. The bottles next to it, Benedict, were from the Jersey Ranch Dairy. Benedict Brothers started in the 1880s. I have several examples of their bottles. And further to the right, we have the New York Dairy. That was George Smart. He started in the 1870s. And he was also a director of the Dairy Delivery Company. And the last bottle on the right is from the Oakland Dairy. Charles Hoff was also a director of the Dairy Delivery Company. So that's the total of the 8 milk dealers that formed the Dairy Delivery Company after the 1906 earthquake, which was the first company to abandon the tin top milks in favor of the more sanitary milk bottles that use the paper cap. And they have a cap seat inside of them. They're all machine-made bottles, whereas almost all of the earlier bottles are mold blown with hand-tooled lips, and they had the lightning type closure, which had a little manila paper to seal underneath the metal cap. And these bottles they have no cap seat, and they're very hard to come by. They were obviously picked up by the milk dealer each day and reused. That's one of the reasons they're so hard to come by. They were reused until they were often badly damaged and no longer serviceable, and probably sold for scrap glass by the dairies. Very few of these bottles exist today.